Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
We've made it. We're over halfway through December. We're almost to Christmas. If you're celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you're not celebrating Christmas, then Happy December. And we're
Happy holidays. It's alliterative, Kyle.
Yeah.
It's on the cup that makes people mad. It's Happy December.
Happy December.
What are you talking about?
Well, maybe Happy Holidays if you're celebrating any holidays. Happy December if you're just celebrating December.
You know what? You're absolutely right. I rescind my critique.
Happy December. Happy December-ween if you're celebrating Homestar Runner, which you should.
You absolutely should.
Yes. How you doing, sir?
Well, aside from the fact that I'm chagrined that I just stepped in it, I'm excited to get through all these questions from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members.
Don't feel too bad. It's all good. Let's go ahead and get started with this question from Allison S. For both of you, you leave your home and find yourself confronted with the death cheese. What do? You have lactate pills if necessary.
I'm going to be victim to the cheddar shredder. There's no good way out of this.
What do I do?
I wish it was otherwise, but
damn it. What do I do? Start eating, buddy.
Yeah, you're not going to cheese for mercy?
No. Nom 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 nom. I like cheese. Anyway, look up Sonic and the Death Cheese. Do yourselves a favor. Stop listening to this crap and go listen to a true classic. Sonic and the Death Cheese. Look it up. It's glorious. Thank you, Instant Sonic. You are a hero. You are the hero we need and deserve. Maybe someday you will come back. It has been like 20 years, but maybe someday. Here's one from Andrew D. In the Amy 30th comic, Metal Sonic's vision shows Fang's full name as Fang the Hunter, but in Fang's Big Break comic, Eggman seems to get his name wrong. Would the Amy comic be sometime before it, in which case Eggman simply forgot Fang's name? Or is the Amy 30th comic after Sonic Superstars, where Eggman knows his full name as Fang the Hunter? I'm assuming it's right before Fang's Big Break, and Eggman simply cannot be bothered to remember, but I wanted to make sure.
You are overthinking the joke.
What? In this fandom? No. Here's one from Antails. Spoilers for IDW Sonic 67. In this issue, Sonic asked Amy if she wanted to go grab dinner. Where'd Sonic take her on their date? Was it someplace romantic? Did they hit up his favorite chili dog stand? Or was it someplace else entirely? I need to know.
Who said it was a date? Friends go to dinner with each other. They go grab food. They hang out.
Ian, don't be like that.
No, it's perfectly legitimate.
Ian.
Two friends going out and just grabbing a bite to eat somewhere within the Restorations Mall.
Two friends going out for dinner.
Yeah.
Maybe having a little kiss after. You don't know. Two friends can do that. Come on, Ian.
I don't know what friends you have, but
come on, Ian. You know, if two people look at each other, they're married. That's how it goes, right?
They're not even roommates.
Only because Sonic doesn't have a home.
There you go.
Because you retconned Sonic Labyrinth. Rude. Here's a question from Ava. It's the holiday season now for us and the Sonic's Worldians. Since post-reboot was ended too soon, how do you think Sally and Nicole would have spent the holiday season together as official, quote-unquote, roommates? How happy are Dr. Elodie and Tim Nigel Acorn being in-laws now? Can they have a nice holiday party?
I mean, if you convince Elodie to come out of his hovel and socialize again, maybe. King Acorn's going to be just fine with anything, you know? Oh, you make my Sally happy? Smashing good time. Apologies to Tim Curry. I think the biggest thing would be, you know, Nicole having to convince Sally that she doesn't work over the holidays. You know, stop, enjoy your time with your friends and your family, and just chill out for one day. No, you're not helping with the Christmas cooking. Absolutely not. But you know, otherwise.
I was going to say, then she starts planning the holiday party. Oh, well, so much for that. Also, that is a good point. Why is her dad British, but Sally is not?
She inherited her mother's accent.
Oh, okay.
Genetics.
Right. Makes sense. That's how that works. Here's a question from Babs. Would Metal Sonic be considered a badnik, a super badnik, or something else?
I would count him as something else. Like, to me, badniks is a specific class of robots. Little doofy-looking animal or plant-themed robots with your odd outliers. And then your super badniks being like the bigger, tougher versions of those and whatnot. I think Metal Sonic is just like, he's part of the Metal series. He is his own thing. He is his own line.
I think he's a hyper badnik.
No.
Oh,
I guess they all follow. I guess they all fall under the umbrella of Eggman's robots.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what Tails says. Look at all those Eggman's robots. Sometimes he's called a badnik.
Has he been?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Not in games, but I think there's been other material where he is sometimes referred to as a badnik. Which, I mean, badnik is kind of an umbrella term for any robot made by Eggman. Yeah. So
I don't know. It might be a distinction that's still getting hammered out.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. Here's one from Batman69 LOL. What if Tails followed Amy Rose instead of Sonic?
Well, then they're both kind of young kids in search of a mentor, and she's gonna go to Never Lake anyway, so he would just kind of be there for the events of Sonic CD. Does Metal Sonic grab them both at Collision Chaos? Maybe. Does Sonic rescue them both after Stardust Speedway? Maybe. He rescues them at different intervals. After that, maybe they are, the dynamic duo of Sonic's fan club. Both of them chasing him around the world instead of just Amy.
That might make things a little more palatable with Amy's obsession at the time. Just to make sense.
Now we've got a question for you, Kyle.
Alrighty.
This one comes from Buttered Noodles. Kyle, you have collected all the Kraus emeralds and have achieved super duper Kyle transformation. What do you do first?
Take a nap. Zenfire D-missiles. Wait, no, hold on. Wow, we're making a lot of really old internet references today. I'm receiving a suggestion from the chat that says tax fraud. But I am tired. The Kraus emeralds. Yeah, right. The Kraus emeralds are those fake plastic things you get from with tickets at pizza places with the redemption tickets.
It's not his speed. He's using the Kraus emerald to nap.
Well.
It all starts with this. The Zequel containing the ultimate power.
It's true. The emeralds from Value Village, they're the Dollar General of Chaos Emeralds. Here's a question from Chaos Sonic 1. So why do you hate Eggman at Nega? And while he is indeed a bad man, I could see potential in him, but why all the hate for him?
I don't like his design. I think he's wholly derivative. He looks like Eggman. He has the same ambitions as Eggman. He has virtually the same characterization as Eggman. He's like an AI-generated knockoff Eggman. He's not a good character in any sense. What little good he does bring to the table could be utilized in something wholly new and original and interesting.
He's a little boring. He's really boring because, he's just literally Eggman. He's got a slightly different design sometimes. So here's a question from DDR Master M. It's time for the most awkward of holiday traditions, being under the mistletoe. How would the following duos of Silver and SBO, Whisper and Tangle, Xena and Starline, and Vector and Vanilla handle it?
Silver and SBO are going to each wait for the other one to make a move, which is to say it's going to be, summer.
They're going to move in under the mistletoe.
Yeah, it's Not going to happen. Whisper is, bashful. Tangle's going to grab her with her tail and pull her in. Sweet, straightforward.
Yes.
Xena in Starline is the definition of LOL no.
Gonna burn. You're gonna burn the mistletoe.
Vector and Vanilla, he's going to be like a stammering mess trying to explain away why it's a tradition and how it doesn't really mean anything, but it could mean something if she wanted it to mean, but he doesn't want to press the issue because she's a strong, independent woman who doesn't need no crocodile, and and then she just kind of pulls him in, gives him a peck on the cheek, and he kind of disintegrates.
How wholesome. All right, here's one from Dove. If you were to bring Scratch and Grounder into modern Sonic as a duo, how might you go about it? Would you keep their Adventures Up personalities or make them something new?
Well, the whole point of bringing in Scratch and Grounder is to bring the characters, isn't it?
Yeah, so why wouldn't you bring their personalities with them?
Exactly. If they don't bring their personalities, then they're just a cluck and a grounder. And we got tons of those.
Yeah.
The problem is we already have the semi-functional, hilariously defunctional duo of Orbot and Cubot. And Scratch and Grounder don't bring a lot that's different. I mean, Scratch is definitely more self-assured and caustic compared to Orbot. And as dense as Cubot can be, Grounder is far stupider. So it's not an exact one-to-one, sure. But the whole thing of the enterprising smart one and the lovably obtuse sidekick, it's been done. So what do you do with Scratch and Grounder that doesn't make them redundant, that doesn't overshadow or compete with Orbot and Cubot? And to that, I don't know. Like, I am not throwing out Orbot and Cubot. I like them.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know, maybe
the Scratch and Grounder are both dumber. They're even, I think they're dumber than Cubot even.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe Sage decides to strike out on her own for a little bit and she needs minions. Father has minions. She should have minions. So she just grabs those two out of mothballs and operates them and says, perhaps I've made a mistake.
Well, that's how you learn. Here's a question from E200 Paragon. Many people in the Sonic fandom hate your name with a frenzy because they believe you're a disgrace to Sonic's legacy, which is absolutely untrue. Most folks I know who deal with this use the classic sticks and stones mindset, but to some people, if someone says something hurtful about you for long enough, you eventually start to believe it. But you take it with stride, no matter what they throw at you. So my question is this. How do you endure the spectrum of spite you receive every day from the fandom, and what keeps you going as a writer?
It's a few things. Number one, I'm really not new to ridicule. I was on the low end of the social order throughout my entire school career. No lasting damage there. So I already have a low opinion of myself. So when someone says, you're a hack, I'm like, yeah, you're probably not wrong. The thing is, I still get work. So I must be hacking something right.
I mean, I may be a hack, but I'm still here.
I'm a successful hack. So number two, it comes with, the juxtaposition of the other interactions I've had. I have had folks who are just absolutely thrilled to see me at a convention, which is wonderful. I have had the odd person who is like trembling in trepidation and kind of moved to tears to meet me. And that's a bit much. Not to throw them, any shade. I am deeply touched that they think so highly of me. I am not worth that emotional response, I assure you. But they think that much. And that is incredible. Like, it's hard to describe without it making it sound like a humble brag, And I'm really not trying to do that. It's, if anything, it puts a greater impetus on me to be a better person because they expect that of me, which is terrifying. But, for someone who has the lowest of opinions of me, I remember that there's someone who has the exact polar opposite of it. And so the average of that is that I'm a decent human being.
Well, I mean, it depends on who you ask.
That's the thing too, is I don't ask.
No.
And if someone's unsolicited opinion is to just bring shade, it's like, why? What moves you to be so vitriolic?
And sometimes shade is useful.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't need to get too high on myself here.
No, I mean like actual shade, like, when it's hot outside and you want to get into the shade. I mean, that's useful.
The kind of shade that doesn't bring heat, what you mean?
Yes, exactly.
Something that has been a lesson that's been very hard to learn, that has come with a lot of time, is learning the nastiness that comes from just bad people who have nothing else going for them other than to tear down others. And I don't know if it's jealousy or ignorance or whatever. I'm not going to armchair psychoanalyze people on the internet. That's a waste of time. But, it just comes from a place where they want to be mean, and those opinions are not worth valuing. An honest critique is something to take in stride. Someone who just wants to tear you down for the sake of tearing you down is, frankly, an asshole, and you don't have to give them the time of day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very happy to think that you think I take it in stride. There are folks who have been less than encouraging, we'll say, and it gnaws at me a bit, but I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of engaging with them, because that's what they want. They want to poke the dog and see it bark and bite, and I am not going to arf or narf at you for your entertainment. That's narf with a G, by the way.
Gunarf. The G is important.
It's a lesson I desperately wish I could have taught my younger self, is that they don't really matter. Honest critics, sure. Folks who, engage with you and your material, and they want to have an actual discussion, or they want to see you improve and grow, that's different. The folks who have drawn their battle lines over a franchise because that's all they have, it's not worth wasting the worry. It's not worth getting angry over.
Pretty much.
That level of tone deafness is not worth responding to. I know where their fixation is. I know where their priorities lie. And I do not want to engage with that type of person, so I don't. And once you learn to let go of that, it helps a lot. I could do a lot better. I'm not trying to pass myself as some kind of Zen-like individual. Far from it. But I am learning and growing myself, and I will continue to do so until I'm in the dirt, which is frustrating, but, so it goes.
Frustrating that you'll be in the dirt? Is that what you mean?
No, that's an inevitability.
Yeah.
More that I'm never going to get this right. I'll just continue to get better. Unless I horribly backslide at some point. That's also an option.
Well, Ian, none of us know what we're doing. We're all just kind of here flailing around. So, if that makes you feel any better, we're just here. All right, let's move on to this next question. This one's from Hearts13. Battle Royale, Rick Sanchez, variant C137 versus every version of Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik in the known multiverse, including every animated TV series, both American and Japanese, OVA counts, every comic book series, even the manga and both pre and post reboot, the movies, the classic and modern games, even the Chaos Council and Dr. Nega. Who wins, and how long does the battle last?
Rick, and it goes for as long as you have a budget.
How long is that?
Mercifully short, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shtick, is Rick is unkillable, and all of the Eggmen are built to fail. That is their role in the universe. So, yeah, Rick, and it's going to be unnecessarily violent and gory. But there will probably still be a couple one-liners in there that crack me up, so.
Alrighty. Egg yolk everywhere. Here's a question from Hero Squad. Do Surge and Kit have an official height and weight?
Not that I'm aware of, but they are comparable to the majority of the Sonic cast.
So, about the same height as Sonic and Tails, roughly, then?
Yeah. If you use their numbers, I don't think you'd be that far off.
Yeah. Except for maybe weight, because their skeletons are literally made of metal, but you know.
Yeah, but I imagine Starline used some kind of lightweight alloy so that they could still flip and run and be gymnastic and not dragged down by their own internal weight.
Maybe. Did he think that far ahead? He was kind of dumb sometimes, by which I mean almost all the time. But
the engineering was perfectly on point. The emotional stuff, not so much.
Well, that's because Starline is an emotionally broken man who does not have a good understanding of psychology. But, here's one from Icon PNG. Do you think Sonic Dream Team changes the canon state of Sonic Shuffle or retcons Knights having a cameo in Sonic Adventure in any way?
Nope.
Convenient. Here's one from JCR1216. Instead of Sonic getting a new son, it's Silver. Same premise as last time, except how would Amy, Blaze, Lanolin, Whisper, Jewel, Surge, and let's throw a curveball in there and say that he's Silver and Espio's adopted son. How would they react to being called Mom, and how would Espio react to being called Dad too by him?
Well, thing is, you said adopted, but they were long dead before he was born, so I'm not sure how that works out.
Unless Silver's a time traveler. He could go back to the past or the present or whenever.
He's born in the present and then launched into the future, and then he comes back.
Maybe.
Great Kronos yo-yo.
Maybe that's what Silver does. He goes through time and steals kids.
I mean, if he's Sonic's biological son, I can imagine him going, "Oh, real glad I didn't kill him. Don't really want to investigate the grandfather paradox."
Oh, no! Oh, no. Silver, no.
So we're working with the premise that he's the adopted son of Sonic and Espio.
No. This is Silver and Espio's adopted son.
Well, no, he said instead of Sonic getting a new son, it's Silver. So it's Sonic's son.
So Silver is Sonic's son, you mean?
That's how it's worded.
Wait, no. I don't think so. No, I think this is Silver. This is replacing Sonic with Silver in the scenario.
Oh.
Yeah. Sonic gets it. Last time, you remember, JCR said if Sonic had a son, but this time it's if Silver has a son.
The syntax is misleading.
A little bit.
We'll work with that.
A little bit.
Okay, so Silver's got the kid from the future, which, good Lord, how much further in the future are we going to go?
Maybe he came back to the past, obviously, because he would have had to come back to the past because if he calls any of these people mom, then they'd have to have been alive.
This is why I hate time travel. Lord. I'm not even being serious here. Anyway, Silver and Espio are dads of
somebody.
Trunks the Hedgehog.
Shorts the Hedgehog.
Speedo the Hedgehog.
No.
Amy is, I don't know, happy for them. They obviously at some point have a nice, loving family. Good for them.
Well, I mean, in this case, Amy is the mom of Silver's son.
Well, then,
is what the scenario
why is Espio the adoptive? Oh, wait. So Espio is part of the line.
Espio is one of the lines. Espio is one of the line. Like, it is theoretical. Okay. They're not reacting to Silver and Espio's kid. They're reacting to their kid with Silver.
All right. Again, syntax misleading. Amy, her excuse is that she gets hedgehogs confused all the time. All right. She didn't even know.
No. Wow. No. Ian. No.
Blaze is like a little surprised, maybe a trifle disappointed, but no, wait, because Espio isn't right. Sorry. It is her and Silver. So she's a little surprised. Thought this came a bit early in the relationship, but all right. She trusts him. They're obviously going to have a good kid, and holy crap, his genetics are going to be insane. Like pyrokinesis through the roof. This kid's going to be a nightmare. Like the power level on this guy's going to be nuts. Lanolin, same as before. Who, what, when, where, how, why? Whisper, surprised, but you know what? Silver's a good kid. Trusts him well enough. Sure, okay. She can work with this. Jewel, largely in the same boat as Lana. I don't think she's even met Silver. But, between his luster and her sheen, that kid's going to look gorgeous. He's going to be like photoreflective.
It's going to be able to see him from space.
There we go. Fluoride the Hedgehog.
Mm-hmm.
And Surge, mild confusion and disgust.
Yeah. I mean, at least she wouldn't want to murder everybody if it were Sonic's kid. More than murder anybody more than usual.
She'd pull the kid aside and go, look, okay, you need to do better than your father. You have to actually kill Sonic, okay?
Yeah.
And SBO, shocked, surprised, never thought he would make that kind of commitment, but, well, it's there now. He's duty bound. He'll see this through. Eventually, time travel's a problem.
He has no idea when, how, or why this happens. So, all right. And let's move on to this question here from Major Bunny. More Sonic IDW issue 67 spoilers. Now that Duo, Surge, and Kid are part of the Diamond Cutters, it's time for their most stressful mission yet, keeping their cool for the Restoration's annual company holiday party. How do they do? Also, yes, attending is mandatory.
Duo will be fine. He knows how to blend into a crowd. He knows how to schmooze just enough to interact and then just kind of not engage to keep his cover. His stress is going to come from Surge and Kit. Surge is just going to be a bad party goer. Eventually Duo realizes, oh, their cover is safe. Surge is just a jerk. It doesn't really matter what she says or does. They're just going to assume, oh, she has issues.
Many.
And Kit's just going to glare from the corner. He's not going to engage. He'll be there, and he's not going to touch that one cup he was given at the start of the party. But he's just going to stonewall everybody.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I guess on that note, let's go ahead and take a quick break. Let's go have our own little holiday party for a minute or less, and then we'll be back with more BumbleKast. We're back. We got our weekly giveaway question from social media. This one is from Rocky Art. And if you want to get one of your own, be sure to go follow us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, and what's the other one?
Tumblr.
And Tumblr to possibly get a giveaway question of your own. My question is revolving around the secret freedom fighters. Out of all the secondary groups, they were definitely my favorite, from the characters with different backgrounds to their mission of being the silent heroes. To Ian and Kyle, if you had to create another story with this team, what would you make them do, and what would be the dynamic that the team would have in their off-work time? P.S. Larry and Silver are best friends.
Yes, they are. That is an excellent question, and it was something I was kind of worried about at their inception, because their entire deal was basically to counter King Nagas. And once that was resolved, what do? The good guys would be in control again. It doesn't really make sense to have counter operatives against the government when they support that government. They'd just be another good guy team. So their fate was kind of up in the air. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, because we hadn't finished off Nagas yet. So I don't know what we would have done with them. I think there was kind of an idea of a somewhat rotating roster. Silver couldn't stay on the team the entire time. He's a game character. He would be needed for adaptations and other utilization. Elias wasn't going to stay on the team. He would be back in an official role, not to get too much into Lost Hedgehog Tales yet. Lita and Lyko, I don't remember precisely if they were going to stay or if they would kind of have their fun and go back to the Wolf Pack. I figured Larry and Shard would stick around, though, because Shard needs to keep a low profile, what with being a killer Sonic robot, and Larry, honestly, it's the only place where he's been, effective. You can't send him out in the world. That's dangerous.
That's dangerous, yeah.
So, I mean, that might have been a storyline right there, is, the team kind of figuring out who's staying, who's going, why, what is their dynamic once they come back together. But
Yeah.
I don't know where we would have gone with them.
I miss Shard.
Yeah.
And I miss Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss Elias.
Yeah. He was one of the good ones. You redeemed a lot of characters, but he was a good one. Ghost tried to approach me and they got Larry. Wait, hold on. That's not it. We got a question from Moreless. We saw in the Metal Virus arc that Sonic and Silver destroyed the virus by sending it into the sun. If Blaze had been infected by the virus, would she have been able to cure herself by burning it out of her body? If not, would she have been able to significantly slow the progress of the virus, much like Sonic Speed did for him?
I don't know, because we never thought about that. We never investigated it. Those make enough sense. And I guess it would be kind of neat to have Blaze step up, since she would actually be able to cure herself, whereas Sonic could not. But again, her fire powers would be disastrous for the actual Zombots, which is the whole reason we didn't include her in the first place. So we'll chalk it up to maybe, and that's a fun fanfic prompt for you guys. Go nuts.
Blaze would not realize what she was doing and maybe accidentally take out a few Zombots. Accidentally, permanently.
Yeah,
brutal.
Do not want that baggage.
Brutal. No. This one's from Mixer17. So we know that Mobians can wag their tails when excited or happy. Whether that's unconscious on their part is a different story. My question is, since Surge has one of those cleft/tough tails, if hers was to wag, would both halves move at the same time, vaguely making it look like she has butterfly flapping its wings for a tail? Or would it be more like how dogs with stubby tails just have an in general wiggle in that whole area when they got a wag? And follow up, would it start sparking if she was either excited enough or it got going fast enough?
The wag itself comes from the bone and the muscle. So for it to flap like a butterfly, that would mean she would need like actual split vertebrae in there and musculature, which no. So it would be more like a docked tail, I imagine. One singular waggle. Would it spark? I mean, if it would enable her to hurt somebody, she'd find a way, I imagine.
Yeah. She'd figure it out.
Like she's somehow restrained by all four limbs, so she just waggles until she can shoot lightning at her butt. That tracks for me.
There you go. Here's a question from Noni. So, at another question, are the Chaos Emeralds and them being powered by negative feelings and positive feelings, two different forces you can harness, still a thing that's canon, or has that been discontinued?
I assume it's still part of the lore. It hasn't been addressed lately.
All right. And here's one from Nenemiun, who answered a few body swap questions already. Now, how about for Sonic and Shadow? How do they react? What do they do? Just how much will Sonic torment Shadow?
I think Shadow's going to be annoyed, and now he's got to focus on a completely different running style. He's used to speed skating. Now he has to actually, run.
Move his legs. Ugh.
People are always so open and friendly and approachable with Sonic, and that's just not his style.
Go away.
Sonic is going to be bemused. Trifle annoyed that he's got to skate instead of run. That feels weird. How do you even run in these shoes? They're so clunky. Ew. But I don't imagine he'd torment Shadow that much. Tease a little, sure. Annoy. But he'll let it be until they're swapped back.
I mean, that's just a Tuesday for Sonic and Shadow anyway. Like, what's the difference? Would Sonic as Shadow just take off the inhibitor rings for fun?
I imagine Sonic just scratching at his arms and chest. Why do you not shave? This is awful.
Oh no. Next question. This one is from Pacifist Cowboy. Is SBO jealous that Charmy looks up to Shadow instead of him?
Of course not. So why would he be jealous? He's not jealous. He's not the jealous type. Hey, Charmer, you want to see him do all this cool ninjutsu stuff?
Yeah, but you're boring and I live with you. You're not cool. SBO's ninjealous.
Oh.
Here's one from a rabbit haver. Hey guys, I was wondering if we could maybe get some clarification on Silver's whole deal. His Fast Friends Forever bio brought up some interesting questions. It's very clear that he doesn't remember the events of 06, but does he remember growing up in a ruined timeline? He's had several lines in the comics that lead me to believe this is the case. So if he does, how does he, rationalize any of it? How did the timeline change look from his perspective? If he does remember growing up in Apocalypse, is he the only one who remembers that timeline? If so, being the only one who remembers must make him feel even more isolated in his own time.
We don't know, really. That side of him has not been clearly illustrated in any media. So I would say let's wait until that is actually just point blank addressed before in some other official media rather than me speculating here.
Alrighty. Will it ever be addressed?
God, I hope so.
Me too. Alright, we got a question from Rock-A-Million. In Archie Sonic, why did Bunny's Uncle Beauregard have a distaste for the Decoulette family? If I remember correctly, this was never explored. Did you plan to explain this at some point?
Yeah, I figured at some point. Mostly the Rabot family was anti-monarchy and the Decoulettes were pro-monarchy.
That's pretty convenient. Pretty convenient explanation, at least. Here's one from Sam Cybercat. Ian, I always love when you do your Silver impressions on the show, so it got me curious. Is Silver a character you'd be willing to do a character-voiced episode for, or would doing that impression for too long kill your voice?
I think it's manageable. When we do the character guest spots, we always do those with a lot of prep.
Yes.
If need be, I can take time off and pick up a session later. So, yeah, I think it's all right.
Well,
I don't know if it's worth it, but I mean, hey, if that's what you want.
Well, Ian, someone's already paid for it, so
well, all right.
You better be ready. They are currently in the question gathering phase, but they have in fact already paid for it, so it's on our list.
The future has been written.
It's true. Here's one from Samuth Star. When more than one hedgehog goes super at the same time, is there a limit to how far they can go away from each other before something breaks? Can Supersonic just leave Super Shadow behind on Earth so he can fly to Jupiter to get more stupider? Assuming he stops at Saturn to top up his rings along the way. I didn't read this entire question, so that got me. That one... Fly to Jupiter to get more stupid. Amazing. Thank you, Samus.
If it's Sonic granting the super state, that's one thing. Maybe. If they're just going super off the emeralds themselves, I would imagine they're independent. They've each transformed. They are their own battery, ? But Sonic granting the super state, which he's done twice now, is kind of weird, and I don't know how that really works.
Yeah. Either way, it's now canon that Sonic flew to Jupiter and got more stupider. Which is amazing, because he's already pretty dumb. I mean... Here's one from Scurvy Pirate Dog. How many Sonics does it take to screw in a light bulb? Depends, is it pre-Jupiter or post-Jupiter?
It only takes one to screw it up.
Oh, damn. I miss when
really, Shadow. I imagine you just hold it up, and since the world revolves around you, it goes in that way.
Damn.
Silver just kind of blinking. What's a light bulb?
Damn it. He knows what a light bulb is. He's not that dumb. He didn't go to Jupiter. See, he's fine.
Those are the things that used to use that thing. What was it called? Electricity.
Yes. Dear Silver, do you understand cooking food?
Sure. First, you get the oil drum full of fire, and then you grab whatever's possibly protein-based and throw it in there. Delicious.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's Breath of the Wild cooking, yeah. Sunblister16 has a question. Starline's Isekai adventures continue with him being sent to the world of Avatar The Last Airbender to work under each of the 3 royal firebenders. Book 1 Zuko, Fire Lord Ozai, and Princess Azula. How does he interact and work with each of them? What does he think of Zuko in particular? And how long before he gets torched into the next plush?
Now, if he's working under Book 1 Zuko, he appreciates his drive, his just ferocious dedication to hunting down this small child that's the hope of the world and beating him into submission and bringing him back. A+, loves it. 100% behind it. This Iroh guy, not quite sure he likes the chill vibe off of him, but hey, you work with what you got. With Azula, he's living on borrowed time.
Azula would just light him up just for fun.
Yeah. He might think he's playing her, but she's playing him. Has been from the start.
I mean, you don't mess with Azula. Yeah.
He's only around as long as he amuses her.
Yeah.
And Ozai, I don't know if he'd like Ozai. At least most of the series Ozai, because he is so grim and reserved. It's not until like the end when he kind of goes full supervillain would that kind of tick the box, but I think he would just intimidate Starline. Like, he can't schmooze, he can't supplicate enough, he can't get a reaction. It's do your job or get out of his sight, and that's not his style. He needs someone with some vavoom. That Azula, though, she knows how to carry a presence. He'll follow her right off the deck of a ship.
He'll follow her right into an oven, become a delicious roasted duck for the holidays. Here's one from Steph Cube. We already saw that Prime Sonic really likes hugs. He even hugs Shadow. That's already too much. My question is, how would Blaze, Tangle, and Whisper react if Prime Sonic ran to give them a hug the same way he hugged Nine after defeating Chaos Sonic? And I'm not referring to a group hug, but to how each one of them would react. I'm asking just for fun and curiosity, so don't take it too seriously.
With Blaze, she likes her personal space. I mean, she trusts Sonic. They are close, but that kind of sudden close contact would be a little off-putting. She'd adjust, but the initial reaction would kind of be like, okay, you're happy. I get that. That's nice. We're done now. Tangle's gonna like hugging back. We're talking full tail wrap. Hug Fest 9000. Whisper, kind of similar to Blaze, doesn't like the close personal contact, and it would be fairly close to one of her early interactions with Tangle. Just boom, hug, and then just very politely but sternly push him away with the variable wisp on, full arm length. Just nope, none of that.
Over there. You go.
Friendly wave is sufficient.
You go over there and stay there forever. Or I will murder you. Here's a question from the Oddly Roger. I was reminded of a possible reference to the Mighty Boosh in the Archie Sonic Comic Encyclopedia a little while ago. Are either of you fans of the show? If so, can we get a little discussion about your favorite parts? And if not, I guess enjoy the $5 for coffee or something. Convenient.
I don't think I've ever heard of this.
The Mighty Boosh. I have heard of it, but that's about it.
Let me do a quick Google.
The Mighty Boosh. But I am not familiar.
Yeah, I have no idea what this is. It is possible that somebody else referenced it. I found that reference entertaining and recycled it there somewhere in the encyclopedia. I'd have to see the quote to know for sure if it was an intentional reference or not.
Yeah.
But if it was a reference, it was accidental.
I've heard of it, but that's about as far as my knowledge on what the Mighty Boosh even is ends. Here's one from True Cosmic Digi. Hey Ian and Kale, if you were to make a Paper Mario or Mario and Luigi game, what kind of story would it be?
Is Paper Mario allowed to have a story anymore?
Is Paper Mario allowed anymore?
Oh, they still make them. Just they're hollow cutouts of what could have been. And I only played the first Mario and Luigi, come to think of it. But, I mean, it's Mario. So assuming a Mario RPG of some kind, kind of spoiled for choice. The sky's the limit. Like, it is the most fanciful of fantasy worlds. Anything can happen. Like, who saw the X-Nauts coming with the 1,000-Year Door? Completely out of left field. I love the X-Nauts. They're great. But it's not something you would immediately think of with Mario. And you can make up any magical MacGuffin to start the plot. That's what they do every game, more or less. I don't know what the story would be, because you could do anything.
That's the great thing about Mario and Luigi or Paper Mario games. So, I mean, I don't know. I would like to play it, whatever it is. Actually, I should probably actually play through a Mario and Luigi game one of these days myself. So, I've played some Paper Mario and Mario RPG, but not Mario and Luigi. So
now, Paper Mario, I'm kind of torn, because I really do like the recruitable enemy buddies, with their each little story and their gimmick. They're fun, but I also really liked having Bowser, Peach, and Luigi as the party. Actually explore the Mario cast and play them again.
Yeah.
After so long. Well, now that we just had the remaster come out, why not have a revival tour? Gino and Mallow come back.
There you go.
I mean, Mario RPG was kind of rhythm-based. That would fit with the Paper Mario model easily enough.
Well,
Bring them back. Send them back to Star Road. Smithy's Revenge. Yeah, let's be completely unoriginal. Retread that old ground.
Paper Mario.
It's new and shiny again.
Well, Paper Mario is the spiritual successor to the Mario RPG, so that's would be why the gameplay style is similar.
Yeah,
So.
but Gino appeared in Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, well, they're both kind of spiritual successors of Mario RPG, to be fair, but,
I think really the answer is we just need more Gino.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, might as well. We just need a Gino game.
Mm-hmm.
With all Genos. All Genos.
Mm-hmm.
Every character is Gino. The villain's Gino. Every party member is Gino. They're all Gino. Here's Twilord with a question. You implied a while back that Harold likes celery and discussed his cranberry jacuzzi. What fruit or veg or style of preparation or dish for them does he dislike, if there is any?
Eggplant.
Some irony.
Doesn't like it, doesn't trust it. Is it a fruit? Is it a plant? Doesn't know, doesn't care. Don't come near him. Get that out of here.
It's also why he doesn't trust Eggman. Is he an egg? Is he a man? He needs to decide. And our last question is from Pedanticat. Ian, can you sing This Is the Thanks I Get from Disney Wish?
I am sincerely sorry, Pedanticat, but no. As in, quite literally, I cannot sing it. Before this recording, I tried for about an hour, and it was disastrous. I cannot do that kind of spoken word well at all, let alone transition from that into lyrical and then back to spoken word. It's just something I cannot do. My lips are not limber enough. I cannot physically do it. I am unable to perform as you desired, and I do apologize.
This is the thanks I get from you, Ian, not being able to fulfill poor Pedanticat's final request.
I cannot grant his wish.
Nope. Also, why is this his final request? I don't know. Maybe it's because it's the end of the show.
Well, I guess that makes sense. In that case, thank you to everyone who submits their question and supports us via patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Time for me to go edit out all the awkward pauses.
So long, 20 minutes a copy.
Sometimes, yeah. Thereabouts. It's pretty funny when I run the truncate silence effect in Audacity and 10 minutes get shaved off. It's like, well, sounds about right. Battle Royale, Rick Sanchez variant C-137 versus every American of Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik in the known multiverse. Huh?
You said every American.
Every American Ivo Robotnik. Yes. Okay. Oops.
Take two.
Robotnik is a real American. Fights for the right of every man. Except, no, he doesn't. He only fights for the right of himself. All right. Anyway, how are you doing?
Tired.
Yeah. That's why I went to sleep.
It has been a week. You know that 10/10 comic strip? It's been a week. Captain, it's only Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah, that's incredibly authentic.
You were at least the second person to reference that today that I've seen around here. I was reminded of a possible reference to the Mighty Boosh in the Archie Sonic comic Encyclopedia. Sorry. The Encyclopedia is a different thing.
This one comes from Buttered Noodles. Kyle, have you collected all the...
Nope. You read it wrong.
Yep. Kyle.
You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
Shall we try to knock some stuff out?
Yeah, I was knocked out. So, yeah, might as well knock some other things out while we're at it.